Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Dan with Train Control Systems, and in this video we will be giving you an overview of TCS's Wow Sound throttle modes. For in-depth reviews of each of these modes, please check out our individual presentations linked in the video's description. On a Wow Sound steam decoder, there are two available throttle modes, Prototype and Traditional. On a Wow diesel decoder, there are three available throttle modes, Prototype, Traditional, and Manual Notching. First, let's review Prototype throttle mode. Prototype throttle mode is the default throttle mode on all Wow Sound decoders. Using Prototype mode makes the most of TCS's exclusive auto-adjusting back EMF algorithm, momentum, and braking features. For example, when a train hits a grade, you will hear the prime mover notch up to supply more power to the traction motor. Once you crest the grade, the prime mover will notch down as the train coasts downhill. In Wow steam decoders, you will hear greater intensity in the chuff and less rod clank when going uphill. When coasting, you will hear less chuff, more rod clank, and even snifters. Prototype mode offers a dynamic sound compared to the traditional stale clatter of chuffs or whine of prime movers. Calibration is highly recommended when using Prototype mode. A calibration ensures the most realistic performance from your particular model. Since no two locomotives run the same, Prototype mode can be calibrated to your locomotive's unique operating characteristics and quirks. Calibrations may be performed using audio assist. Check out our video on Prototype mode for a demonstration of calibration by clicking the annotation in the top right corner of the screen or by following the link in the video's description. Next, let's discuss manual notching. Manual notching is a Wow diesel decoder exclusive feature and has been included on every Wow diesel decoder ever made. Manual notching allows a user to select the active notch of a locomotive while separately controlling the speed. By default, buttons 10 and 11 allow the user to increase and decrease the active notch of the locomotive respectively. Manual notching can be used at any time in any throttle mode via the manual notch buttons. But if you would like to disable all automatic notching, you may use audio assist to select the manual notch throttle mode. In manual notching throttle mode, all automatic notching is disabled. In order to change the notch of the locomotive, you must use the manual notch button. In Wow steam decoder, a similar effect can be attained by using the Johnson bar. Again, by pressing buttons 10 and 11, you can adjust the intensity of the chuff separate from the speed. Unlike in Wow diesel decoders, this operation is not available as its own throttle mode. Also note that if you are not in manual notching throttle mode, changes to the speed step will return the locomotive to the automatically selected notch or chuff intensity. If manual notching is something that you would like to use often, TCS recommends you remap the manual notch buttons. Possible choices would be buttons 3, which is the short horn, and button 4, which is the horn quill, but you may use any buttons. For a demonstration on how to remap the manual notching buttons, check out our manual notching video by clicking the annotation in the top right corner of the screen or by following the link in the video's description. Last up is traditional throttle mode. Traditional throttle mode on a Wow sound decoder sets the chuff intensity or prime mover notch based on the speed step. Traditional throttle mode emulates the classic style of sound like on DC. In addition to speed controlled sound, traditional throttle mode also sets momentum to near zero value. What this means is that the speed of your locomotive or consist will react directly to changes in your throttle. You are not expected to use TCS's braking feature while in traditional throttle mode. On a Wow diesel decoder, the speed step at which each notch transition occurs may be customized via 4CV programming. You can see on this slide an example of the 4CV programming operations required to change the Notch 1 and Notch 2 transition speed steps. CV202 in this scenario will select the notch to change with a range of 31 to 38, and CV204 will select which of the 128 speed steps you want the transition to occur. The active notch will be determined by which set point the throttle has passed. For example, if the locomotive is set to speed step 5 of 128, the active notch will be notch 1. But if the locomotive is changed to speed step 6, the prime mover will notch up to notch 2. You can check out our traditional throttle video by clicking the annotation in the top right corner of your screen or by following the link in the video's description. In summary, we discussed the three throttle modes available on TCS Wow Sound decoders: Prototype, Manual Notching, and Traditional. These three throttle mode options from TCS provide you with the greatest versatility of any decoder on the market, allowing you to run the locomotive the way you want to. As a demonstration, we have set up here a short piece of track with our Prototype command station and throttle. What we're going to do is change the throttle mode on this decoder. Each of the three throttle modes on this Wow diesel decoder may be selected through Audio Assist, TCS's exclusive audio feedback CV programming tool. To access Audio Assist, pick up your throttle and select the address of the locomotive you want to program. In this case, the locomotive's address is address 3. Once we have the locomotive addressed, we will press button 8 4 times in a row. You will hear the feedback from toggling modes and then the cue, "Welcome to Audio Assist." If you are having trouble entering Audio Assist, try pressing button 8 faster or more than 5 times. You cannot press button 8 too many times before entering Audio Assist.
Welcome to Audio Assist. Use button 1 to choose a throttle mode.
And that's what we want to do, so we're going to push button 1.
Set up your decoder preset. Welcome to Audio Assist.
Now that we have entered Audio Assist, we can hear the system listing all of the available
programming
options from this menu.
Use button
If you
2
want to visually
to hear
follow
the
along with the
lighting
system,
programming
you may
options.
consult your decoder
Use button
literature's
3
tree diagram. Here's an example of the tree diagram. This one in particular is from a version 4 WOW diesel decoder, like the one in this locomotive. Your menu options will vary depending on the decoder version as well as the type, steam or diesel that is. What we're going to do is change the throttle mode. The throttle modes are found under the additional options in the throttle mode menu. So now that we're in the throttle modes menu, we're going to press button 1 to switch to throttle mode. In this example, I'm going to select manual notching.
Manual notching operation.
And then I'm going to press button 8 to save.
Saved.
And press button 0 to
Use
exit.
buttons. Bye.
So now, if I attempt to run the locomotive, the notch will not change based on the speed. I can only change the notch of the locomotive using the manual notching buttons. So that would be these. I can notch it all the way back down. And increase the speed. And the notch doesn't change. And that's it. That's all there is to it. We've changed the active throttle mode. Throttle modes work well with user presets, allowing you to have quick configurations for different types of operation. Check out our video on user presets for more details. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then be sure to leave it a like and comment down below with what you'd like to see next from TCS. If you want to stay up to date on the latest news and tutorials from TCS, go ahead and press that subscribe button. Happy modeling.